This video is for students who need help with the Unit 1 Lesson 3 test in English 1. So you might be asking yourself, what are sensory details? This short story contains a lot of sensory details for Lesson 3 when Mr. Perazda came to dine. You will have 60 minutes to answer 11 questions. 10 of the questions on the test are about sensory details. Probably already know a lot more about sensory details than you may think. Ask yourself, what are the 5 senses? Vision, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Well, what are sensory details and why are they used? Sensory details are descriptions that appeal to the senses. Writers use sensory details, especially in narratives, to provide more vivid descriptions. Sensory details help the reader become more engaged in the reading. Here are some examples of sensory details. Sight, a most commonly used sensory detail. The roads have begun to glisten underneath headlights. An example of sound. Wind swirled around our beach house, whistling loudly to a terrible tune. An example of smell. I love the salty beach air. Example of touch. The power lines, heavy from the thickness of ice, had snapped. An example of taste. I enjoy starting my day with the juicy tartness of an orange. So let's talk about taking the test. Some questions require you to identify one sense, and some questions require you to identify multiple senses, so be sure to read the directions carefully. Multiple choice tests can be tricky because you can often make an argument for several of the answers. However, you want to pick the best option. We'll do one example together. Let's read the question. Which sensory detail does this passage show? It was made of finely checkered gray and blue wool with a striped lining and horn buttons, and carried in its weave the faint smell of limes. The best answer is smell and sight. The passage mentions finely checkered gray and blue wool with a striped lining and horn buttons. This is sight because it is describing how it looks. The passage also mentions carried in its weave the faint smell of limes. This is smell because it is describing the faint smell of limes. Now you're ready to take the test and earn a good grade. You have up to 60 minutes, like I said before, so take your time and be sure to select the best answer. More importantly, when you move on to Unit 2 and you write your Unit 2 essay, incorporate sensory details because it'll make your writing much more vivid. Thank you.